What if I told you the final day of filming for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta didn't just end with drama? It ended with total destruction. Cameras stopped rolling, security stormed in, and the cast you thought you knew turned the entire set into a war zone. Reports say this wasn't a staged fight. This wasn't scripted. This was real chaos. Mendices and Kirk Frost, two men whose feud had been brewing all season, finally exploded. Yandi tried to calm it down. Rashida jumped in, but instead of peace, shocking accusations flew across the room. Tables flipped, lights shattered, cameras fell to the ground, and producers had no choice but to shut everything down. Even Mona Scott herself was on site, screaming at the cast to stop. But the damage was already done. The set was destroyed, reputations shattered, and rumors of lawsuits are flying everywhere. Fans are stunned, demanding to know what really happened that day. And insiders are leaking shocking details that the network doesn't want you to hear. So, buckle up, because this isn't just another love and hip-hop fight. This is the meltdown that might end the entire franchise forever. The energy on the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta set was supposed to be celebratory, after weeks of filming back-to-back drama, and all the chaos that comes with reality television. The final day of shooting was planned as a moment of closure. Cast members would wrap up their storylines. Producers would capture those last explosive sound bites, and then everyone would finally get a chance to breathe. But instead of peace, the atmosphere was like gasoline waiting for a spark. And the spark came faster than anyone could have imagined. Insiders say the tension between Disease and Kirk Frost had been building for months. Viewers saw little glimpses on screen, subtle shade, side comments, and confessional digs that hinted at something deeper brewing. But what cameras hadn't shown was how personal it had gotten behind the scenes. Kirk felt disrespected after Mendices questioned his parenting choices during earlier filming, while Mendices reportedly accused Kirk of being manipulative and two-faced when the cameras weren't rolling. By the time the final day of filming arrived, both men were sitting on powder kegs of resentment, and all it took was one wrong word to make it explode. The day began smoothly enough. Cast members arrived on set dressed to the nines, ready to film what was meant to be a light-hearted rap party scene. Drinks were poured, laughter echoed across the studio, and even Mona Scott was in attendance, smiling proudly at another season brought to life. But beneath the polished exterior, the mood was anything but calm. Yandi Smith could sense it. According to a crew member, she whispered to a producer early in the day, "I can feel it in the air. Something's about to go down." And she was right. It started innocently with a conversation between Mendices and Kirk. What should have been a routine exchange quickly took a dark turn when Mendices, frustrated with months of tension, made a comment about Kirk's reputation as a husband and father. Witnesses say his words cut deep, and Kirk immediately snapped back, throwing shade at Mendices' past mistakes, including his time behind bars. The entire cast went silent. Cameras zoomed in, sensing a goldmine of raw reality TV drama. But what no one realized was that this wasn't going to be just another argument. Rashida, always wanted to stand by her man, jumped in almost instantly. She clapped back at Mendices, telling him to mind his own marriage before coming for her as Yandi, protective of her husband, couldn't stay quiet either. Suddenly, what started as a one-on-one argument became a four-way showdown. Couples versus couples. Loyalty versus loyalty. The volume rose, fingers pointed, and the tension was so thick. The crew later said it felt like the room itself was holding its breath. That's when things turned ugly. Insiders claim Kirk lunged toward Menz after a particularly harsh jab, and while security rushed to step in, the damage was already spiraling out of control. Tables were overturned, drinks splashed across the floor, and a cameraman reportedly dropped his rig, trying to dodge the chaos. At one point, a prop mirror shattered against the ground, sending shards across the set. Production assistants scrambled for cover, and one staffer swore they saw Mona Scott herself storm onto the stage, yelling at the top of her lungs for the cast to get it together. Okay, before the whole show was ruined. But it was already ruined. Social media exploded before the cameras even stopped rolling. Extras and background staff leaked cryptic posts on Twitter and Instagram describing the wildest fight in love and hip-hop history. Some even claimed lawsuits were being threatened before the night was over. Fans who had followed the franchise for years thought they had seen everything: bottles thrown, hair pulled, tables flipped. But this was on a completely different level. This wasn't just drama for ratings. This was real anger, real betrayal, and real destruction. And through it all, the cast's reputations were crumbling. Mendices, once praised for turning his life around after prison, was now being labeled volatile online. Kirk, already controversial after past cheating scandals, was called toxic and out of control. Rashida's name trended on Twitter, with fans arguing whether she should stand by her husband or finally walk away, and Yandy, she was caught in the crossfire, accused of enabling her man while also trying to protect him from himself. The shocking part is that this fight wasn't just about words. It was about years of unresolved tension, jealousy, betrayal, and egos that had finally collided. By the time security separated the cast, the set looked like a war zone: broken props, destroyed furniture, and shaken staff members everywhere. Crew members whispered about how this might be the breaking point, the moment that pushes the franchise to its absolute limit. What was meant to be a finale celebration had instead become the darkest day in love and hip-hop history. And yet, insiders say the real drama hadn't even started, because in the middle of the chaos, accusations were hurled that no one expected, accusations that could expose dark family secrets, hidden betrayals, and DNA bombshells that might just destroy marriages forever. The fight was just the beginning. If Part 1 set the stage with chaos, Part 2 is where everything took a darker, more personal turn. Because what happened after the tables flipped wasn't just another fight for TV ratings. It was the moment where secrets spilled, alliances shattered, and the future of love and hip-hop itself began to crack. Once security managed to pull Kirk and Mondays apart, most expected the tension to cool down. But instead, that's when Rashida and Yandy, two women who had managed to keep things civil throughout most of the season, went head-to-head in a verbal showdown that nobody saw coming. According to multiple eyewitnesses, Rashida turned to Yandy in pure frustration and snapped, "You don't even know what your man's been doing behind your back." The words sliced through the chaos like a blade. The entire set froze. Yandy's face reportedly went pale as the room went quiet. For years, she had stood by Mendices, defending him through legal troubles, rumors, and endless public criticism. But Rashida wasn't just throwing shade for the cameras. She said it with venom, with confidence, like she had something to back it up. And that's when the first bombshell dropped. Insiders claim Rashida accused Mendices of sneaking around with another woman connected to the cast, and not just casually. She alleged there were receipts, texts, late-night calls, even secret meetings that production assistants had apparently noticed during filming but kept quiet about. Yandy, furious, screamed back, "You're lying. You're making this up because your man can't control his own scandals." And that's when Kirk, never one to let a moment slip, stepped in with another shocking twist. He turned to Yandy and smirked, saying, "You think you're the only one dealing with lies? Wait until you hear the truth about your family." The room erupted again. What Kirk was hinting at was something that had apparently been whispered behind the scenes for weeks: a potential DNA scandal involving one of the cast's children. While details remain murky, insiders claim Kirk suggested that a recent DNA test revealed shocking truths about paternity that could shatter one of the marriages forever. Though he didn't name names directly, the insinuation was strong enough that the cameras caught Yandy bursting into tears, Rashida yelling over security, and Mendices threatening to walk off set entirely. Young Jock, ever the peacemaker, tried to step in once more. But even he admitted later in a leaked audio clip, "This ain't TV no more. This is real life. This is about to ruin families." The crew was horrified, not just because of the fight, but because cameras were rolling through all of it. What was supposed to be a fun, dramatic, but scripted feeling finale had now turned into a raw, unfiltered explosion of real secrets, the kind that no producer can plan for, but every producer knows will send ratings through the roof. And then came the ultimate twist. Reports say Mana's got herself stormed onto the set, furious at how far things had gone. But instead of shutting everything down, she allegedly told the camera crew, "Don't cut, keep rolling." This is what the fans need to see. That one decision changed everything and changed everything. Suddenly, what should have been censored chaos became the centerpiece of the finale. Cast members were screaming over each other. Furniture was still overturned, and now accusations were flying in every direction. Some claimed Rashida had receipts proving Kirk wasn't as faithful as he pretended to be. Others said Yandi had been holding on to paperwork about a DNA test for months, waiting for the right moment to reveal it. And in the middle of it all, Mendices was caught on camera shouting at Kirk, "Say one more word about my family, and it's going to get real." Security dragged him back again, but the damage was done by the end of the day. The set looked like a battlefield. Producers were already scrambling, unsure of whether Mendices' footage was too real, too graphic, too personal to even air. But insiders say Mona wasn't backing down. She allegedly told the editing team, "We're not cutting any of this. This is the season. This is the show." Now, the twist wasn't just the fight. It was the fact that Private My Vet, if you're using like a scanner app and it's like it's scanner app and it's like you're going to die. Like, look at this. And we look at this. And we all know I've been exploring. Off-camera secrets had been weaponized on stage. DNA scandals, alleged infidelities, betrayals no one was supposed to know. And now, instead of being handled privately, it was all captured on tape for millions of viewers to see. Fans would later describe it as the moment love and hip-hop crossed a line. Not because of the violence, but because of the sheer audacity of airing something so personal, so destructive, and so raw. And the most shocking part, sources close to production claimed that what happened that day may have permanently destroyed certain marriages. Kirk and Rashida's foundation had already been shaky for years. Yandi and Mendices had fought through countless obstacles together, but after that day, insiders say the trust in both relationships was shattered. Yet, as devastating as it was for the cast, for viewers, it was everything raw, explosive, unscripted, the kind of reality TV moment that trends for weeks and leaves fans demanding answers. But if you think this was the peak of the chaos, think again. Because just as the dust began to settle, another shocking reveal hit the cast. One so wild it left even Mona speechless. And that's where part 3 begins. Just when everyone thought the drama couldn't possibly get any worse. Part 3 is where the fight turned into something so explosive. It shook the entire foundation of love and hip-hop. What started as accusations and name-calling spiraled into a shocking reveal that nobody, not even Mona Scott herself, was prepared for. The tension was unbearable. Kirk Frost, still red-faced and pacing, was shouting across the set while Mendices tried to break free from security's grip. Rashida, furious with Yandi, was yelling over the chaos, insisting she had proof that would end all the lies once and for all. And that's when it happened. The reveal that turned this fight into the most unforgettable moment in franchise history. Sources who were present say Rashida pulled out her phone mid-fight and screamed, "Since everybody wants to talk about secrets, let's put it all on the table. You think Kirk is the only one? Yandi, check your man's DNA receipts." The room went dead silent. Crew members later admitted they felt chills. According to multiple insiders, Rashida had allegedly been sitting on information about a DNA test tied to Mendices. Word is one of the kids fans believed was his may not be biologically his at all. And worse, production insiders claim Rashida had gotten this information from someone extremely close to the Frost family, meaning it wasn't just gossip. It was allegedly real paperwork. Yandi broke down immediately, screaming that Rashida was lying, accusing her of trying to destroy families just for clout. But the look on Mendices' face told a different story. His silence, his refusal to deny it outright, sent shockwaves through the set. Cast members later confessed they couldn't believe what they were seeing. One of the most respected couples in love and hip-hop history being torn apart in front of the cameras with a single accusation. And then, as if things couldn't get any crazier, Kirk jumped back into the fire. He yelled across the stage, "You want to talk about DNA? How about we talk about your husband Rashida, and what really happened when those messages leaked?" Gasps filled the room because Kirk wasn't just trying to deflect. He was exposing Rashida's own marriage. According to him, there were secret dais and late-night calls between Rashida and someone fans would never expect. A well-known rapper rumored to have been close to the Frost family for years. Kirk's claim wasn't just a jealous jab. Insiders say he referenced very specific dates, times, and even a location where Rashida had allegedly been spotted with this mystery man. At this point, producers were begging Mona to cut the cameras. But Mona, knowing she was sitting on the biggest scandal of the decade, reportedly shouted, "Don't you dare stop filming. This is history." Meanwhile, chaos ripped through the set. Security struggled to hold Mendices back as he tried to confront Kirk, while Yandy, sobbing, turned her anger toward Rashida. "You crossed the line. You don't bring my kids into this." Rashida, equally enraged, fired back. "Then keep your man in check because everybody knows he ain't as loyal as you think." Furniture was overturned again. A production assistant was reportedly injured after a chair flew across the stage. Crew members scrambled to protect expensive lighting equipment as the fight grew more dangerous by the second. And in the middle of it all, young Jock's voice could be heard yelling, "This ain't even a show no more. Somebody's about to get hurt." But the real shocker came moments later. As the fight raged on, a crew member accidentally left a hot mic open. What was captured sent social media into a frenzy when it leaked. A private conversation between two cast members suggesting that producers had known about the DNA scandal long before this fight and may have deliberately kept it quiet to drop at the finale for maximum drama. If that's true, it means the entire Love and Hip Hop cast was being played like pawns in a game much darker than they realized. The fallout was instant. Insiders say half the cast threatened to quit on the spot. Yandy was allegedly heard telling producers she would sue if the DNA storyline aired. Rashida stormed out, throwing her mic on the floor, while Kirk followed behind her, still shouting insults. Mendices was escorted off the set again, this time by 4 security guards. His voice from screaming. The shocking reveal wasn't just about DNA or infidelity. It was about betrayal on every level. Friendships, marriages, and even the trust between cast and producers had been obliterated. And all of it was caught in crystal clear HD for the entire world to see by the time the cameras cut. The set looked like a war zone. Shattered glass, broken props, and tear-streaked faces everywhere. The crew described it as the day the show stopped being entertainment and became something else entirely. And yet fans haven't even seen the worst of it because word is Mona Scott and the editing team are planning to leave nothing on the cutting room floor. Every accusation, every receipt, every tear. The world is about to witness the most unfiltered love and hip-hop moment of all time. But the question is, will the cast even survive? Because as Part 4 will reveal, the fallout wasn't confined to the set. The outside world, fans, media, and other celebrities exploded the moment news of the DNA scandal leaked. And what happened next left the industry stunned. The moment the fight wrapped, and whispers of the DNA bombshell began leaking online, the world outside the Love and Hip Hop set went into absolute chaos. Social media lit up like wildfire. Fans who had been glued to every messy twist of the season were suddenly confronted with what felt less like a TV plot, and more like a real-life implosion. Hashtags like #LHL_setfight, #DNA receipts, and #cancelerk began trending within minutes on Twitter. Fans were in shock. One user wrote, "I thought Love and Hip Hop was scripted, but this is real life and it's uglier than I ever imagined." Another fan posted a viral thread, breaking down every accusation shouted during the fight, pulling up screenshots of past episodes and interviews that seemed to line up with the receipts Rashida allegedly waved around. That thread alone gained 500,000 likes within hours. Meanwhile, Instagram blogs like The Shade Room and Hollywood Unlocked posted blurry behind-the-scenes clips leaked by crew members. The footage showed Kirk screaming at Mendices, Yandy crying uncontrollably, and Mona Scott pacing the set with her hands in her hair. Comment sections turned into war zones with fans taking sides. Some defended Yandy, calling her the backbone of the franchise, while others blasted her for hiding the truth about men. And then there were those dragging Rashida, accusing her of being messy enough to destroy marriages for ratings. But it wasn't just the fans weighing in. The hip-hop industry itself couldn't stay quiet. Within 24 hours, major celebrities started chiming in. Cardi B jumped on Instagram Live saying, "Yo, this DNA thing, crazy, like, I don't even know what to believe no more." But they wiled in for real. That's not TV. That's people's families. Her words sent shockwaves, especially because Cardi herself had been tied to Mona Scott's empire in the past. 50 Cent, never want to miss an opportunity to stir the pot, posted a meme of Kirk Frost photoshopped holding a stack of DNA results with the caption, "Damn homie, they got you like my now. LOL. Y'all better chill before I start producing this show myself." The post got over 1 million likes and only intensified the debate. Then came the most shocking reaction of all, an official statement from VH1's PR team. Usually, network stays silent when the drama gets this intense, but this time, the noise was too loud to ignore. The statement read, "VH1 and Love and Hip Hop take the safety and well-being of our cast very seriously. While we cannot comment on ongoing storylines, "We assure viewers that the situation is being handled with the utmost care. But the damage was already done." Industry insiders began whispering about lawsuits. According to multiple reports, Yandy threatened legal action if the DNA storyline aired, arguing that producers were exploiting her family's personal pain. Rashida, on the other hand, ALLEGLY, felt betrayed by VH1 for allowing Kirk's accusations about her supposed affair to even be hinted at on camera. Insiders claimed she contacted her lawyers, and while the cast battled internally, fans debated externally. Some called for the cancellation of Love and Hip Hop altogether, saying the franchise had gone too far by weaponizing family secrets. Others argued the opposite, claiming this was the royest reality TV ever, and predicting record-breaking ratings for the finale. Sponsors were also caught in the storm. A major haircare brand that had partnered with Yandy reportedly considered pulling out, citing brand image concerns. Meanwhile, Kirk and Rashida's Frost Bistro restaurant page on Yelp was flooded with negative reviews from fans calling Kirk toxic and Rashida a snake. The backlash wasn't just virtual, it was starting to hit their real businesses. And yet, in the middle of all this, Mona Scott and her production team seemed almost triumphant. According to one insider leak, Mona allegedly told staff during a post-fight debrief, "This is the kind of scandal people will talk about for years. You don't bury this, you air it." If true, that means fans might see every shocking second in the finale. No edits, no filters, just raw chaos. Even mainstream media outlets picked up the story. TMZ ran with the headline, "Love and Hip Hop set. It's destroyed in final day brawl. DNA bombshell shakes cast." Entertainment Tonight invited a reality TV analyst who said this is unprecedented. Reality shows thrive on drama, but this level of personal exposure could destroy marriages, friendships, and reputations forever. Fans online weren't just reacting, they were investigating. Amateur detectives on TikTok began dissecting old episodes, looking for clues about the DNA scandal and Rashida's alleged affair. One viral TikTok claimed that a season 12 scene where Rashida refused to answer a question about her phone was proof she had something to hide. Another video with 2 million views argued that Yandy had been dropping subliminal hints about trouble with Mendices for months. And then came the celebrity wives. Tammy Rivera, who had previously starred on the show, tweeted, "This why I left. Too many secrets, too much fake love, and when it comes out, it ain't pretty." That single tweet set off another firestorm, with fans begging her to spill more tea. By the end of the week, the scandal had grown bigger than the show itself. Rumors circulated that Netflix and Zeus Network were circling the franchise, considering buying rights if VH1 couldn't handle the fallout. Meanwhile, cast members were reportedly refusing to film confessionals unless they were promised final approval of their footage. But the real question lingering over everyone's head wasn't just about ratings or contracts. It was about survival. Could Yandy and Mendices survive the humiliation of a DNA scandal? Could Rashida and Kirk's already fragile marriage withstand accusations of infidelity on national television? Could the cast ever trust each other again, knowing that secrets this deep had been weaponized for fans demanded answers, but all they got was silence from the network and cryptic posts from the cast. Yandy posted a black screen on Instagram with the caption, "Cod knows the truth." Rashida uploaded a selfie, looking unbothered with the caption, "Still standing tall. Always will. Kirk." He went live on Instagram, pacing in his car, repeating, "Y'all don't even know the half. Just wait and see." One thing was crystal clear. The fight had bled off the set and into the real world. Reactions weren't just opinions anymore. They were dividing friendships, brands, and even the entertainment industry itself. And if you thought the public reaction was chaotic, Part 5 will take you even deeper. Because while fans argued online, the fallout behind closed doors, lawsuits, alliances, and shocking betrayals was only just beginning. If fans thought the fight itself was shocking, the days that followed proved the fallout was even worse. Behind the closed doors of VH1, the Love and Hip Hop franchise was on life support. Insiders claim emergency meetings were held almost daily as producers scrambled to control a scandal that was spiraling way beyond TV ratings. The first bombshell came when whispers of lawsuits started spreading. According to crew members, Yandy was the first to make her move. Furious that her family was dragged into a DNA scandal on national television, she allegedly called her lawyers to block the footage from ever airing. Rumor has it, her legal team sent a cease, warning VH1 that if they exploited the DNA storyline, she'd sue for defamation and breach of contract. The network tried to brush it off, but the threat was serious. Not to be outdone, Rashida reportedly contacted her attorneys as well. She claimed she was set up by producers to be the villain, that the accusations of her affair were twisted for ratings, and that her entire marriage was being destroyed for entertainment. One insider even leaked that Rashida told VH1 execs, "If my marriage ends because of this, y'all will pay for it in court." Meanwhile, Kirk played the opposite card. Instead of threatening legal action, he leaned into the chaos. In a shocking Instagram Live, he ranted in his car for 20 minutes, saying, "They can sue all they want. The truth always comes out. I didn't lie on nobody. If y'all scared of the truth, that's on you." That live only made things worse, as fans immediately flooded comments with #cancelerk and #DNA receipts, double quotes. Then came the alliances and betrayals. Word spread that Yandy and Rashida, once frenemies, were suddenly meeting in private. Fans speculated they might be teaming up legally, realizing the network had played them both against each other for ratings. But other whispers claimed the opposite, that Yandy was furious. Rashida had gone public with receipts that destroyed her marriage. Nobody knew which story to believe, and that confusion only deepened the tension. Producers were in panic mode. Mona Scott herself was reportedly overheard saying this was supposed to be a finale, not a funeral for the franchise. To salvage things, they floated the idea of an emergency reunion special, but half the cast refused to participate unless they were guaranteed editing control. Young Jock, usually the comic relief, allegedly told producers, "Y'all not about to make me the new scapegoat. I'll walk before I let y'all play me dirty." At the same time, behind-scenes betrayals shook the cast further. Leaked texts suggested some crew members had been feeding blogs clips of the fight for cash. Mona's production team was livid, but the damage was irreversible. Every gossip page had already gotten their hands on grainy, but damning footage. The cat was out of the bag, and there was no putting it back. But perhaps the most shocking fallout came from the network itself. Multiple insiders claimed VH1 considered pulling the entire finale off the schedule. Some executives feared the lawsuits would cost more than the ratings would bring in. Others argued the opposite, saying this was the Super Bowl of reality TV and airing it raw would break records. The debate became so heated that a top executive allegedly threatened to resign if the finale was shelved. And while the network scrambled, the cast began turning on each other in ways nobody saw coming. Kirk unfollowed Rashida on Instagram, sparking rumors their marriage had finally collapsed. Yandy posted a cryptic story saying, "Not everyone is built for the truth. Some people crumble when the mirror is put up. Some people crumble when the mirror is put up." Fans speculated it was a direct shot at Mendices, who according to leaks had been avoiding filming altogether. Mendices himself wasn't quiet either. He allegedly stormed out of a production meeting, shouting, "I'm not Maury. I'm not about to play these games with my family on TV." Security had to escort him out, and sources said Yandy was left in tears, unsure if her marriage could survive both the scandal and the cameras. And just when it seemed the storm couldn't get worse, another twist hit. An anonymous crew member leaked that there might be a second DNA test. If true, this would mean the scandal wasn't over. It was just beginning. Fans went into overdrive speculating that more children, more secrets, and more betrayals could be exposed if that second test ever saw the light of day. The fallout didn't stop at the cast. Sponsors began quietly pulling back. A hair care brand paused its campaign with Yandy Frost Bistro's Yelp reviews tanked overnight. Even Rashida's clothing boutique was hit with a wave of boycott comments on social media. Their personal brands were burning, and there was no PR strategy strong enough to put out the flames. Behind closed doors, Mona Scott and her producers faced their darkest question yet. Had love and hip-hop finally gone too far? Was this the end of Atlanta's wildest reality saga? Or was it just another chapter in a never-ending cycle of chaos? One producer allegedly summed it up perfectly. "This isn't just drama anymore. This is war, and the cameras are still rolling. And the cameras are still rolling." Just when everyone thought the dust had settled, the biggest bombshell yet dropped, and it changed everything. Insiders claimed that the network received an anonymous email the morning after the explosive finale. Attached were not only raw, unedited clips from the fight, but also alleged secret audio recordings from behind the scenes. These weren't just heated arguments. These tapes suggested that producers may have actually instigated the fight for ratings, planting false rumors about DNA results, and whispering lies to stir the cast into chaos. The leak threw VH1 into full-blown crisis. If true, it meant the entire scandal could backfire legally and fans might finally turn on the show. But here's where it gets even crazier. That same anonymous source hinted they weren't done. In the email, they wrote, "What you saw last night is just the beginning. The real secrets haven't even been exposed yet." The cast, already shaken, went into panic mode. Yandi allegedly demanded answers from producers, furious that her family might have been manipulated for a storyline. Rashidita was said to be livid, telling friends, "If they set me up, I swear I'll burn the whole house down." Meanwhile, Kirk doubled down, calling himself the only one who told the truth, but fans began to question whether even his outbursts were staged. And then came the second shocker. A new DNA envelope was spotted on set. According to leaks, Mona Scott had prepared a sealed paternity test reveal for the reunion, a reveal that was never filmed because the fight derailed everything. But now with the tapes out and the reunion hanging by a thread, fans are demanding to know whose DNA test is it. Was it Kirk's, Mendice's, or someone else entirely? The cliffhanger deepened when young Jock went live on Instagram. With his usual smirk gone, he said only one cryptic line before logging off. "Y'all ain't ready for what's next. Trust me, the truth will ruin careers." That single sentence set the internet on fire. Fans immediately began speculating that the test might expose a hidden child, a secret affair, or even another cast member's betrayal. Meanwhile, sponsors and execs pulled strings in the background. Some wanted the reunion cancelled completely to avoid more chaos. Others whispered that airing it uncut and raw could break TV records. According to insiders, Mona Scott herself fought to keep the cameras rolling, allegedly saying, "This is history. Love and hip-hop has never been bigger than it is right now. If they can survive this, they can survive anything." But survival is not guaranteed. Rumors say Yandi is considering quitting for good. Mendices wants out, and Rashida is threatening to walk unless the network clears her name. Kirk, he's reportedly negotiating a spin-off deal, insisting he's now the star villain of the franchise. Whether bluff or truth, it proves one thing: the cast is no longer united. They're each plotting their own escape or their own takeover. And here's the most chilling part: that anonymous leaker. They've promised another drop of evidence in the coming weeks. Fans are already calling it the biggest reality TV bombshell of all time. No one knows what's inside. More DNA results, affair receipts, producer manipulation, or something even darker. What's certain is this: the fight that destroyed the Love and Hip Hop set may have also destroyed the future of the franchise itself. But for fans, it's the most addictive cliffhanger they've ever seen. Because if the anonymous leaks are real, then the fight wasn't the finale. It was just the prologue to something much bigger. So the question remains: who will survive the fallout and who will be exposed next? One thing's for sure: the story isn't over. It's only just beginning. And there you have it, the most chaotic, destructive, and jaw-dropping day in the history of Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta. From Kirk flipping tables to Mendez storming off to Yandi and Rashida caught in the crossfire, this wasn't just another reality TV fight. This was a meltdown that could shatter the entire franchise. Equipment destroyed, crew terrified, and cast members threatening to quit. The chaos didn't end when the camera stopped rolling. If anything, it's only just beginning. But now it's your turn. What do you think really went down on that final day? Do you believe the cast truly lost control? Or was this all pushed too far by the producers hungry for ratings? Was Kirk justified in his rage? Or did he take it too far? Should Yandi and Mendices walk away from the show to protect their family? Or would leaving mean giving up their platform for good? And what about Rashida? Can her marriage survive another blow? Or was this fight the breaking point we've all been waiting for? Drop your thoughts, theories, and hottest takes in the comments. Because this story isn't just about the cast anymore, it's about the fans. You've been with them every step of the way, and now your voice matters more than ever. And listen, if this is your first time here, don't you dare scroll away without hitting that subscribe button and turning on all notifications, because trust me, the next chapter is coming fast and you don't want to miss it. Anonymous leaks, hidden DNA tests, cast betrayals. It's all on the table. And we'll be here to break it down piece by piece. So, buckle up, because if you thought this fight was the end, you're wrong. It was only the beginning. Stay tuned. The real drama hasn't even started yet.